Well, this is Jared with Stampede Blue. This is your Indianapolis Colts post-game wrap, and the Colts won today at home against the Miami Dolphins. Final score 27-24 in what amounts to a comedy of errors with really good supporting cast, right? The Colts won today because we have Andrew Luck, who has amazing chemistry with elite receiver T.Y. Hilton, and then also has really good chemistry with Jack Doyle and Eric Ebron. Combined, those guys had like 12 catches, 200 yards, and 3 touchdowns. T.Y. Hilton, back-to-back games, did T.Y. things. The Ghost, 7 catches, 146 yards, no touchdowns on 10 targets. Very efficient day. Was just zooming today, just flying all over the field. The only reason this game was close today is because I think that the Colts are trying to open up their offensive playbook and get the ball downfield more, which is what people want to see, right? Like how many people I had a conversation with in the last few months where they're like, Andrew Luck's got to push the ball downfield. I don't agree with you, but we did that today and cost ourselves 2 interceptions. Andrew Luck was under duress. I think Braden Smith gave up a couple pressures to Cameron Wake. Instead of attacking Beam, the center, who by the way played well today, did not turn the ball over. The Colts offense looks like as long as they're able to protect Andrew Luck, and as long as he completes 81% of his passes, right, 30 for 37, 343 yards, 3 touchdowns. But again, the 2 interceptions and the sack, which would have been 2 if it hadn't been for a downfield penalty. Andrew Luck would have gotten sacked twice, and he looked like he got dinged. And then the Colts won today because the Miami Dolphins weren't really relying on Ryan Tannehill to do much. He was 17 for 25 for 204 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was sacked. Colts did put a little bit of pressure on him today by blitzing. And the Colts defense today stood up and was 4 for 10, forced the Miami Dolphin offense to go 4 for 10 on third down, which is above bar. And then, while the Colts weren't any better on third down, they were 4 of 12. They were also 2 for 2 on fourth down. So the difference is an opportunity, right? So the reason we won is because we had more opportunities to score. And the only reason we needed more opportunities to score is because we turned the ball over, is because we gave up big gash plays. Leonte Carew for the Dolphins literally came off the street for the Miami Dolphins and had a 74-yard touchdown today. But I want to point out that that's a credit to the defense, because if you take away that one 74-yard catch, Ryan Tannehill was 18 for 24 for 130 yards. That's why the Colts won today, because they were not under pressure. The game, like I said, the score-wise looked close, but the game was not close. The reason it was close is because the boys turned the ball over today. We aired it out like everybody wants to see, and we're not there. And then, of course, when you put in Jacoby Brissett and let him hang Andrew Luck out to dry and almost get him killed, I mean, I'd have cited him for attempted manslaughter if it was me. And then, I don't know, the end of that whole first half was nightmarish, right? Right off the bat, Darius Leonard goes down, walks out the field, doesn't even go to the sideline, goes straight to the locker room. But unfortunately, he's made of rubber, so he just came back onto the field and was like, nah, I rubbed some dirt on it, I'll be fine. I had to go out into the street and find some because we're playing on turf. But he was able to come back. It's time to start talking about Darius Leonard as Defensive Player of the Year, not just Rookie of the Year. If he continues this pace, Darius Leonard will have 160 tackles, 10 sacks, 5 forced fumbles. If he were anyone else, if he weren't a rookie in a middle market team that got drafted in the second round, that a lot of people thought it was a reach, and he went to a small school, if he were on any other team, if he were any other player, literally, if he had gone to a Power 5 conference, if he had been drafted in the first 40 picks, you'd be talking about this guy at the top of every hour, saying this guy's a machine. There's a reason they call him the Maniac. And then the Colts are also fortunate they have a guy like Anthony Walker, the second-year linebacker from Northwestern. Those 2 players today had 19 tackles. Darius Leonard had 10 tackles and a sack. Anthony Walker had 8 solo tackles. So as long as the Colts defense plays well and opportunistic, without turning the ball over, just holding the opposing defense and forcing them to punt, and they're able to score, the Colts technically had more opportunities to score today. They just, they had a field goal get blocked. They did everything in that first half. Like I said, the last 2 minutes of the first half was like watching a cat unravel a ball of yarn, right? And like at some point, you're just concerned the cat's going to choke itself out. That's really what it felt like. The Colts were just going to make so many errors that eventually Miami's going to score, put the game out of reach. And it did feel that way. In the fourth quarter, the Colts are down 10, and you're thinking, like, the only way we come back is if, Andrew Luck does Andrew Luck things and just shines when it's the toughest, right? He just comes out and does the thing that gets you the stuff. And unfortunately today, that stuff was the win, right? So the Colts, with 6-5, tied for the wild card right now with Baltimore, which would be a very entertaining game to watch. The Colts are in an interesting position of they're winning football games that it's not necessary that they win, because I would argue that once the Colts get to the playoffs, even if you make it out of the wild card round, it's going to be real tough. You have to play perfect to win a game outside. I mean, you have to play perfect pretty much any time, but you get what I'm saying. When you get in the playoffs, you can't make mistakes like you did today. So hopefully the Colts will just see this as this was a trap game, right? And the Colts escaped with a win in a trap game. So we're just fortunate that Marlon Mack went down with a concussion. We certainly hope that he comes back. But he had 85 yards rushing on 15 attempts. I mean, he was having himself a day before he went down. So Colts are clicking on offense. The defense needs to be a little more opportunistic, but also played pretty well, all things considered. And certainly shut him out there in the fourth quarter and made it to where they gave the opportunity to the Colts to win the game. So hats off. That's 5 in a row. Andrew Luck has thrown it for 3 or more touchdowns in 8 straight games. And again, even in your not our best outing, the Colts are able to get a win. So it's nice to be on this side of a coin flip, right? Because early in the season we were dumping these games when we make mistakes and play sloppy. But the Colts, you can't make those mistakes against Jacksonville, Houston, Dallas. They will chew you up because they can actually score with their running game. So yeah, Colts are doing the thing with the stuff, man. And you've got Andrew Luck, and he's got some pieces around him. He's got a formidable offensive line, and he's got some real good tight ends, and he has T.Y. Hilton. And fortunately today, guys like Dontrell Inman and Chester Rogers had a few plays where you're just like, man, he's not a thinker. But we should see improvement, right? From now on, we want to see the receivers run with the ball similarly to the running backs, right? Where you catch the ball first, then you turn and go upfield. That's what we want to see when you catch the ball, is catch it, tuck it, and turn, right? That's what they coach. When you don't do that, you get hemmed up in tackle situations. Chester Rogers, you put yourself in positions you shouldn't be in by dancing instead of turning and putting your head down and tucking that ball and getting upfield and getting as much extra yards as you can, specifically when the ball is thrown to you at the yard line to gain. So fortunate today that mistakes did not cost us the game, but also it cost us a lot of effort there in the end of the game to get back and win. And when you have to make plays, when guys are really stretching out like Marcus Hunt up the middle there at the end, that's how guys get hurt. If you're managing the football game and you can keep guys fresh and rotate them in and out, and you're ahead, when you're playing from ahead, you tend not to have as many injuries and contact plays. But when you've been putting the ball downfield all game, when you've got a really high-powered offense, and a guy's going to come up banged up like Marlon Mack did today. So like I said, we hope he comes back healthy. We hope the Colts continue to get healthier, right? We had a couple tight ends out today. Denzel Good was out today. And of course, Ryan Kelly, we need you back, man. We need everybody healthy. All the rest of the games this year are going to be winnable, man. We're going to be talking about this every week. This game is winnable, or was winnable. This was one of those games where we should never have been in the position we were in, and then we were able to get out of it because we have Andrew Luck. And at this point, I'm pretty sure Andrew Luck's on pace to have a career year. And again, if the expectations had been there for the Colts from the beginning, Andrew Luck would be getting talked about a lot more. But when you have teams that are basically playing perfect football in the Saints, the Rams, and the Chiefs, they can score 50 points a game, you're going to have to be able to do that. So this has been Jared with Stampede Blue. We're obviously, like I said, I'm really happy that the Colts are 6-5. We'll take 6-5 and winning 5 in a row. Looking into Week 13, the Colts can play with everybody. We can come back and win a game. We can control a game from front to back. You just hate to see it back to back, right? This football team plays like Sybil. But yeah, we'll kind of see what happens moving forward. Certainly like to hear what you think about that, right? What do you think about today? Kind of questioning Frank Reich's sanity, right? Like he's been spending too much time with a stylist. I could keep going, but anyway, you get it. This is Jared with Stampede Blue. This has been your Indianapolis Colts post-game wrap, and we'll see you next week.